why we are here today to talk about the latest CBSE mandate and how do we navigate this whole implementation in our respective institutions. So now, here I present you the CBSE mandate and what it talks about. Number one, it highlights the training. It says that every teacher must complete certified mental health training, including psychological first aid, warning signs, and self-harm response. And this should be at least for 12 hours. So every teacher and non-staff should have at least two training programs on mental health training within the span of a year. And each training should be of 6 hours under capacity building program. Moving on, every institution is encouraged to have a crisis-ready team under council. So a trained interdisciplinary council with documented referral pathway, escalation protocols, and an annual crisis response drill. Next, every institution is encouraged to have some mandatory policies. We particularly encourage that there should be 4 written policies that every institution should have, which focuses on well-being, anti-bullying, grievance redressal, and staff well-being, written, reviewed annually, and communicated to parents. Then it also focuses on reporting pathway. So there should be some anonymized records and anonymized reporting pathway, annual wellness audit with anonymized records, what was done, who was trained, what referrals were made, and recovery outcomes should be tracked. This is not it. Moving forward, we also have some other, we also have student support services under which the CBSE mandate focuses on mandatory creation of school-based mental health programs to help students manage stress, including 50 hours of certified training for counselors and CPD training for teachers, which should be for around 50 hours. Then it encourages parent involvement for sensitization. So schools are required to conduct regular sensitization sessions for parents to prevent excessive academic pressure. And lastly, and most importantly, mandate counselors. According to the latest CBSE mandate, every CBSE school should have 2 counselors, one for wellness and counseling and another for career counseling, at least for the grade 9th to 12th. So these are some of the key points that CBSE mandate focuses on in order to achieve a better sense of student well-being and institutional sensitization around mental health. Now the question is that although today institutions are told what mandates to follow, but we also need interventions and support system to bridge the gap between the growing requirements and the implementation of them in the institution. So that is where a program SWIS comes in. Moving forward, what is basically SWIS focusing on? We believe that we don't have care shortage in schools. We just have lack of training gap. So as per the NCRB report 2023, there were 13,892 suicide rates, and we also know that a lot of them go unreported. There are 1,000+ hours that every student spends with their teacher each year. But the teachers are not trained to support these students when they are going through a mental health distress or some other crisis. And that is why we believe that we really need to start by building capacity in the institutions by training teachers through gatekeeping and other mental health training courses. That's one of the key factors that SWIS focuses on. Moving forward, let's understand SWIS. SWIS, as Deepika mentioned before, is Student Wellness and Institutional Safety Standard. It's India's first third-party certification that transforms school culture into a certified ecosystem of emotional and psychological safety. So let us understand how. SWIS has annual certification, so it is a certification that will run for 1 year and then it will be renewed every year with external audits that will be run by us. It has 8 to 12 week onboarding process. It covers 100% teacher under gatekeeping training courses and other workshops and training programs. And it is a crisis ready by design. Now, how do we cover all these pointers? SWIS basically has 5 main pillars. Number 1, It focuses on training every teacher under gatekeeping, which is a CPD accredited course by Standard Office UK. Second, we will encourage institutions to have their own wellness council committee that will focus on an interdisciplinary approach where we will encourage them to have different representatives, even parents and students in the committee. And this committee will be responsible to navigate and reflect and make sure that the well-being and the safety of the institution is on track. Then we'll have some policies. We encourage institutions to have 4 mandatory policies along with 6 other optional policies that the schools can adopt. These 4 mandatory policies will focus on student well-being, anti-bullying, grievance redressal, and staff well-being. Then to retain the certification, we also have well-being initiatives where we will be providing quarterly workshops for teachers, which will really help them get trained in mental health, inclusive education, and even their own well-being. We will also have engaging workshops for parents, as that is also one of the mandates that CBSE focuses on. And we will also have workshop for students. Lastly, we also have a crisis response. And in case a school needs a support during a crisis response, a team will activate a crisis response process, and we will provide a continuous support to the institution at that point of time. So this is what specifically SWIS covers. With that, DPS and sister schools have already adopted SWIS as per April 2026. And as for this moment, 37 teachers of DPS have already been trained under gatekeeping, and the number keeps on increasing, where we aim at achieving approx 1,000 teachers being trained in gatekeeping by June first week. And this is just the beginning. And we really hope to one day train every teacher of this nation under gatekeeping. Moving on, let's understand how this SWIS program is also aligns with, and it also covers all the mandates of CBSE. Not only CBSE, but also Council of International Schools, IBs, and Supreme Court mandates. So number one, staff training twice yearly by certified professionals. That is a requirement by CS and CBSE, is covered by Pillar 1 and 4 of gatekeeping certification and quarterly labs. Psychological first aid warnings and referrals is covered by Pillar 1 CPD accredited gatekeeper certification. Uniform mental health policy reviewed annually is covered by Pillar 3 of Policies Toolkit. Qualified counselors and support team is covered by Pillar 2 Wellness Council. Safeguarding policies communicated and community-wide is covered by policy Pillar 3, which is Policies Toolkit and Parental Engagement. And lastly, trauma-informed practices and rapid crisis recovery is covered by Pillar 5, Crisis Response Recovery. So one program, every requirement, and full compliance is what SWIS helps you with. Moving forward, we also have SWIS Lite and Elevate. So we do not stop at SWIS. To broaden the range of support and accessibility, we are also bringing SWIS Lite and Elevate for you. Firstly, Elevate. Under Elevate, we are launching a school counselor course, which is a 6-module, 60-hour course. It's a self-paced course, so easy to complete with regular courses. This is basically a course to help psychology professionals, educators, NGO professionals to get more equipped and competent around school counseling. It is a CPD accredited course run by expert faculty. It includes reflective exercises, real case decisions, practical tools and tests, resource materials, and research-based content. We are also giving them the opportunity to have internship at schools and gain real-life experience before they start their professional journey. So through Elevate, we are focusing on capacity building by training more and more professionals under school counseling. And once that capacity building is done, we are moving forward to focus on accessibility through SWIS Lite. SWIS Lite basically is a bridge program that focuses on boosting accessibility of mental health care in schools. How do we do that? So to hire a school counselor, it almost costs 4 to 8 lakhs per annum to a school. Now we know that not every school can afford that. So we end up not having a mental health care in the institution. So now that CBSE mandate also requires school counselor and it is a necessity to have mental health support in the institution. We have brought Swiss Light for you, which provides a counselor who will visit your institution once or twice a month. This counselor will be having clinical supervision from our counseling team. With that, we will also provide policies, some standard policies for your institution, the crisis response. Five wellness champions will be trained under gatekeeping from your institution, and a 90-minute recognize and refer training program will also be conducted for your teachers. And all of this will be covered under Swiss Light. This will run for 1 year for your institution. So not only through Swiss Essential, we are addressing all the mandates of CBSE, but we are also focusing on capacity building and increasing accessibility through Elevate and Swiss Light, so that this kind of support becomes accessible to every school out there from Tier 1 to Tier 3. Moving forward, this is how Swiss Light and Elevate covers the CBSE coverage. 12 plus hours mental health training per teacher through 90-minute recognize and refer training, plus 5 champions who are trained under gatekeeping, and Elevate full counselor curriculum. We are focusing on crisis intervention and clinical referral pathway through MSS hotline, emergency visit, Elevate clinical referral, and first response training. Annual wellness report with anonymized records will be also covered through supervised counselors report annually, caseload review, and Elevate counselor-led reporting. Qualified counselor presence on campus by MSS counselor 1 or 2 day visit to your institution per month who are clinically supervised, and the same counselor will visit you every month. Building clinical capacity in-house through Elevate. And lastly, path to full CBSE compliance maturity through Light, Elevate in year 1 or 2, and to graduate Swiss Essential. So long-term support that meets CBSE today and builds the team for full Swiss tomorrow. This is where we come in for you to cover the CBSE mandates and help you with accessibility and support. Moving forward, now we are shifting from what of the CBSE guidelines to the how of daily practice. To give us that raw frontline perspective, we are joined by Miss Nimisha Yadav today, who is a RCI certified mental health professional, currently working as a school counselor at Dharav High School, who has also one of the schools who has adopted Swiss for us. Along with her work in the field of mental health and student well-being, she's also a professional theatre artist, and she actively incorporates theatrical experiences and creative expression into her work with students and within the school environment. Her approach focuses on making emotional learning, communication, and self-expression more engaging, interactive, and meaningful for young minds. Welcome, Ms. Nimisha. Thank you for joining us today.
Thank you for having me here.
Definitely. And for today's session, we would request you to walk us through how you view the CBSE mandates and how your experience till now has been with a Swiss implementation. And with that, I would like to firstly ask you, what is your professional take on the latest CBSE mandate regarding student well-being?
Okay. So I personally believe that the CBSE mandates are a very timely step that we have been taking towards a holistic development. I believe that they reinforce the idea that education is not only about the academic achievement, it is also about our emotional well-being, our students' emotional well-being. So the student well-being being part of educational policy also sends a very powerful message that the emotional health is also as important for our child's growth as well as the academic part. Also, the CBSE mandate the approach about the whole school approach. For example, it's a collaborative approach. It's not just the counselors, not just the teachers or the leadership, even parents as well. So I believe a child learns best when they have the emotional support, not only when they are taught, but also when they feel very safe, heard, and emotionally supported. So, yeah.
Right, and I highly resonate with you as a counselor myself. We always say that student well-being is a shared responsibility, and
Exactly.
you threw light on that beautifully.
Mm.
With that, I want to now know that how are these requirements being discussed within your school leaderships
Mhm.
and among faculty of your institution? What is the
So,
reaction that we are getting? Yes.
so the reaction is it's more like the school leadership, even the faculty, they're acknowledging the fact that how student well-being is connected to their every other aspect. For example, their academic engagement, their peer interaction, or their social interaction, or overall the school environment. Even in the faculty members, there is a growing awareness like the teachers are the first when they interact. The teachers interact with students, and also they notice the behavioral change in them. For example, the participation, how they are talking, and even the discussions or the conversations are shifting towards the more empathetic way and student centered. For example, I think earlier it was more like this particular thing is the particular behavior is the issue. Now it
Hmm.
has shifted to like what this behavior is actually communicating, their indirect way of communicating verbally, non-verbally, through art or anything.
Hmm.
And after the Swiss and everything, I think the more focus has been shifted towards the integrated classrooms, the life skills, the SEL practices, the strong collaboration between everyone. And we begin to understand that the behavior with empathy, support becomes more effective and meaningful when we collaboratively work together and we become more empathetic. So, yeah.
That's wonderful. It's beautiful to know that how we are also moving from
Hmm.
sympathy to empathy within the institution. We are trying to understand
Yes.
and build more inclusive educational institutions. And
Hmm.
it's lovely to see how the whole school leadership is responding to the new mandates. I think it's the need of the hour, and we all
Yeah.
are collectively recognizing that. Right. With that, what has the actual experience of rolling out Swiss has been like for your team and the students?
Mhm. I think the biggest strength of us collaborating the school in the Dharav High School, it has given us a more clear and structured way to actively support the mental well-being and the all-over well-being in everyday life. Even when after like going towards Suez and us collaborating, it has more like we have moved beyond towards occasional talks. It is like our now day-to-day basis. And I think the shift is also there. Like, for example, there is more initiative towards like strengthening teacher sensitization. For example, we are currently talking about CBSE mandate and the children, the students' well-being. But I think with Swiss, there is also focus on teachers' well-being as well. So I think it's a very great balanced out structures and how you're operationalizing everything very balancing and focusing on emotional safety and the whole eco school system approach. I think that's really nice.
Thank you so much for throwing light on Swiss. And I think that's our vision as well. We highly believe in the oxygen mask principle, where we believe that the teacher can only help a student, or the institution itself can only help the students and the team of itself when they are doing well for themselves. And so, definitely, we try to incorporate staff well being as one of the key factors. And with that, as you are the early adopters of Swiss program, how is it also helping your institution achieve the CBSE mandates that we have just discussed?
So, so about the CBSE mandates, like we are in the implementation process, I think the topics, the training topics are very much student centered and also the current needs of children and adolescents. And as I've mentioned that about the teacher well-being also being a part of it. I think it is a very balanced and holistic approach. And I think overall, we see Swiss as a positive step towards building a more emotionally aware and connected and supportive environment for both the teachers, the students as well.
I'm glad to know that we are on the same page in regards to Swiss. And lastly, I just have one last question for you.
Yes.
now that I'm sure we have a lot of principals and teachers and mental health professionals joining us today for this webinar. So, what is your key advice for addressing the mental health crisis in school while effectively integrating these new mandates?
See, I believe let's make mental health part of our everyday life, not just a policy requirement. So, if I quote a very renowned child psychologist, name is Haim Ginot, he quoted, "Children are like wet cement. Whatever falls on them makes an impression."
Hmm, that
And
is so
that's what
true.
we follow, creating a very supportive and very empathetic environment, because they will learn and thrive through in this environment, because these are the external factors that matters a lot in shaping them, even in shaping us. So yeah,
Hmm.
as simple as that. Let's make it a part of everyday culture.
That's beautiful. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for being so honest and candid in this conversation. And we got some really beautiful perspective through this
Thank
conversation.
you, thank you.
Thank you so much for your time, Dr. Anisha.
So I would like to take a leave because of some prior commitments. I hope that's fine with everyone.
I'm sure that's
Uh,
perfectly fine.
and
If anyone has any questions for Miss Nimisha, we can take it up later
yeah,
and we'll share it with her separately.
definitely, I would love to answer any of the questions, and I would also like to thank you, Swiss Essentials, my safe spaces, for having me here. And I think that's a really great opportunity, and I really appreciate whatever the work you are doing, and I think it has been a really great help for us. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for your kind words, Miss Nimisha. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Take care. Bye.
You too. So moving forward, I would request Deepika to now explain how Swiss is implemented and how Swiss Light is implemented in every institution.
Right. I'm sure everybody enjoyed the conversation between Amoga and Ms. Nimisha. Now I'm going to walk you through the execution part of it. So here's what the first year of Swiss actually looks like in practice, and most importantly, most of the heavy lifting happens in the first 8 to 12 weeks. So, in the first 2 weeks, we focus on onboarding. This includes formalizing the engagement, assigning a dedicated coordinator to your school, and collecting baseline data so we understand where you are starting from. We also have a kickoff with your leadership team so everyone is aligned from day one. From weeks 3 to 8, the focus shifts to teacher certification. 100% of your teaching staff enroll in a 4-hour gatekeeping training program. This is CPD accredited, multilingual, and completely self-paced, which means teachers can complete it alongside their existing schedules. And importantly, there is no disruption in classroom time. Parallel to this, between weeks 5 and 8, we set up your internal systems. Your wellness council is formed and trained, a small interdisciplinary team within your school. At the same time, we customize and implement 4 mandatory policies covering student well-being, anti-bullying, grievance redressal, and staff well-being. These are not generic templates, they're adapted to your school's context. After the initial setup, from month 3 onwards, the focus shifts to reinforcement. This includes quarterly teacher labs, student mental health workshops, and structured parent engagement sessions. So the system doesn't just exist on paper, it becomes a part of your school's culture. And then by month 12, we complete a formal compliance audit, certification is awarded, and we move into renewal planning for the next cycle. So this is not a one-time intervention, it's an ongoing auditable system. And just to address what is usually the biggest concern here, this entire process is designed to run without disrupting teaching. Everything is built around your school's existing rhythm. So that was Swiss Essentials. Before we move forward, I would like to show you our Swiss portal, where the schools can track the Swiss progress within their schools. So just give me a minute. So here, as you can see, we have the different phases right here. So the school can track their progress from onboarding to teacher training to policy review, the teacher labs, and then the final certification. So this is the portal where you can track your progress. And yeah, so moving forward, we'll get back to the rest of the meeting. Right. So now we get to the Swiss Light program. So if Swiss Essential feels like too much too soon, then you can explore Swiss Light. Here, most of the heavy lifting happens in just the first 30 days. In month 1, we focus on onboarding. This includes formalizing the engagement, assigning a dedicated My Safe Spaces counselor to your school, the same counselor every visit, and running your first on-site session. We also confirm your tier, basic, which is 12 days a year for schools under 500 students, or plus, which is 24 days for larger campuses. Quick and clean. From months 2 and 3, the focus shifts to training and certification. Your entire teaching staff goes through a 90-minute recognize and refer session. 5 of your staff, we call them champions, complete the full CPT accredited gatekeeper certification, which is multilingual and completely self-paced, which means teachers can complete it alongside their existing schedules. Parallel to this, your starter policies are adopted, covering student well-being, anti-bullying, grievance redressal, and staff well-being. These are not generic templates, they're adapted to your school's context. From months 4 through 9, the focus shifts to steady state. Regular monthly or fortnightly visits from your assigned counselor. The MS's direct line is live for anything that comes up between visits. Quarterly debrief with your principal, and a mid-year review, so nothing drifts. So that, again, the system does not just exist on paper, it becomes a part of how your school operates. And then by months 10 to 12, we complete your annual report and caseload review and make the renewal decision together. And this is the moment you graduate to full Swiss Essential with credits. And again, this program is designed to not disrupt teaching time, and it is supposed to complement your school's rhythm. So yeah, that was Swiss Light. And moving forward, we have the next steps. So we have come towards the end of the webinar now. And if what we discussed today resonated with you, here are the 3 simple ways you can take this forward, depending on where your school currently stands. The first option is to schedule a brief discovery call with our team. This is a no obligation conversation where we understand your current setup, your challenges, and walk you through what an 8 to 12 week Swiss implementation could realistically look like for your school. If you're already considering this more actively, then you can pre-register your school for the upcoming 2026 to 2027 cohort. This gives you full access to the Swiss prospectus, detailed pricing tiers, and a complete compliance blueprint. And if you're still exploring and just have specific questions or concerns, you can simply reach out to us, share your context, and our team will get back to you within 48 hours with a clear, detailed response. So now we move on to the live Q&A session. So the floor is now open for questions. And Amoka, back to you.
Thank you so much, Deepika. Now we are quickly opening the platform for any questions that you might have. You can unmute or raise your hand and we'll take up your question, or you can mention it in the chat box. We have one question by Ms. Sheetal, which says that what is the cost of implementation for Swiss Light in a school with 600 students? I would request Mr. Hubert to take up on this question for us.
Sure. If you kind of give us your email address, we'll mail it out to you, and we'll have someone call you and work you and step you through the program itself. It's more of a discussion than just giving you a number. because it's about mental health. So we'll be glad to talk you through it.
Thank you, Hubert, for addressing that. Any other questions? You can raise your hand and we'll take up your question next.
Actually, my question is the first you raised the question that the policies and the implementation, right? So in case of the normal classes, classroom or normal schools like us, how we can implement all those mandates of CBSE all together at once? Can you please explain those things? Like
Definitely.
talking about the mental health of the students, mental issues of the students, that exactly so. We are also following the same, but the teachers, our teachers are bogged down with the syllabus, pressure of the syllabus and the examination, this, that. So when we will be able to take care of the mental health of the students, and how it could be possible inside a classroom within this short span of time, within this pressure of syllabus and all. Can you please explain or talk about this topic?
Definitely. I think you have raised a very important question for all of us. How our education system is and how the syllabus is, we really struggle with navigating this responsibility. And as we always say that's why student well-being is a shared responsibility. It is not just the responsibility of the counselor or the teacher, parents, the institution, in fact, the protocols and the mandates of the institution in itself, teacher training, and students, their own personal awareness, everything needs to come together in order to address this issue. And that is exactly what we are focusing through Swiss. So, as your question is that how do we address such a big thing as student well-being amidst the pressure of the syllabus and everything? That is why we focus on training teachers. We just do not focus on training teachers on how to become more competent and skilled at addressing certain issues and mental health crisis, but we also focus on student teachers' well-being. We also train them on how to regulate themselves, take care of themselves, and then only they can support the students. We also encourage parental engagement and we do workshop for parents and students so that they also become more aware around how to take care of themselves and the child. That's why we have some policies. While implementing those policies will not increase your work. It will just give a better structure on how to address the safety and the well-being of the students with some effective actions. So through all these things, we are trying to address the student well-being, and that's why we focus on a multidisciplinary approach. Because your concern is totally right. It's very hard for the teachers to do all of it all together. So does that answer?
I agree with you, ma'am. I do agree with you. But I have another question that how do we get the trainings, or how do we arrange the trainings for the parents even, or for the teachers, or for ourselves? Can you please explain that?
Yes, I would like Mr. Hubert to take on.
If I may add to what Amoga was saying, the situation in our schools has not, come about overnight. It has been brewing for the last several decades. And change is going to happen slowly. There is no magic bullet here where, one day you're going to kind of be in one situation, you're going to contract with us, and the next day everything is going to become okay. It is a process. And the process, first of all, starts with shared responsibilities. Parents, teachers, and the management working together to address this situation of mental health. More than that, I think mental well-being for the students has to become part of the DNA of every educational institution. It's not a buzzword. It's not something you talk about at meetings and then forget about it. It has to become the core being of your institutions. Only
well
then will
said, sir. Very well said.
And it will happen over time. But it has to start at some place, and that is what we are trying to do. And it has to start with the adults in the room, which are the educators, which are the teachers. The key issues with teachers today is, first of all, they're not trained. Secondly, they have immense pressures both from management as well as from parents, because they
Right.
want the best for the students. So they are caught between a rock and a hard place. Third, they are unsure of what to tell a student if they come up with something. They are not trained again. Swiss tries to address this. First of all, be clear in what the role of the teacher is. The role of the teacher is not to be a therapist, it is to monitor the student and report if they see something alarming. That is the key. Because very often teachers do not want to get involved because they feel some kind of a burden that if they see something, they have to do something about it, in the sense they have to solve that issue. They're teachers after all. They love solving problems. But that is not what they are meant to do, especially when it comes to suicide ideation and mental health. Leave it to the mental health professionals. Your job is transitionary at that point. This message has to be conveyed to all the teaching staff. And I think once that happens, teachers will be more, will look forward to working with students in the problems that they are having. The fear goes away and there is a structure in place. So it may not be the answer you're looking for, but this is going to take time. And one thing that we have to work on is mental well-being and mental health has to become part of the fabric of every educational institution.
Thank you very much, sir. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Pradipta, for putting up that question. I think it was very important to address that. And thank you, Hubert, for sharing your insights. Are there any other questions that we have?
Ma'am, I just wanted to ask one more thing, that if I
Yes.
want to conduct if I want to conduct this type of training sessions for my teachers or for the parents, what I need to do, how I need
So we
just type in your email address in the chat box, or we will have one of us contact you, and we'll take it from there.
Okay, thank you very much. Thank you.
Sure, absolutely.
And for others, if you still have some questions and if you're navigating, if you're interested how to go about it, we will be sharing an email to all of you with a detailed pathway on how to go about it. We'll also share a feedback form, and we will request all of you to also engage with that feedback form and share how you found today's webinar. With that, if you have any other questions, you can definitely write us on the email. The email addresses have been mentioned. Dipta, can you once go back to the slide where we have our email address?
Right.
Yes. So here's the email address. You can send your questions at swiss@mysafespaces.org. Right. All right. Thank you so much. I think this brings us to the end of today's webinar. It's lovely to see how we had some great questions, and we all stayed back. I think it has been an hour, so we will not take more of your time. It's Friday morning, sorry. So yes, this brings us to the end. I would request Deepika to share the closing statement with us.
Right. Thank you, Amoga, for explaining the entire program so beautifully. And before we close, small message from our founder, Mr. Hubert Jerome. Hubert, please take over.
Sure. As I was mentioning, compliance is the floor, and that is what I think CBSE mandates provides. A culture of care is the ceiling, and every school in India can build a staircase between them, starting with one trained adult at a time. And that is what Swiss does. And I want to thank each and every one of you for spending part of your morning with us. Just being here and taking the time to learn about this very important aspect of our education and our educational system means that you are care, and means that you care and are part of the solution. Together, I think we can overcome this epidemic which is there in our country today. And once again, thank you for everything that you do for the children, because as they say very often, they are our future. Thank you.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you so much for joining, and thank you for spending your Friday morning with us. We hope to hear from you soon. And thank you.
Thank you so much, everyone. Have a good day ahead.